Right. Remember 2018? Fortnite was everywhere. Your little brother was playing it. Your dad had heard of it. People were doing the dances at weddings. It made $5.4 billion in a single year. One game. Free to play. Just charging people for cartoon skins and pickaxes. Epic Games built their entire company around it. This week, they laid off over 1,000 people. The CEO said, and I am quoting directly here, "We've had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season." This is that story. Go back to 2011. Epic Games at this point is a respected mid-sized developer. They made Gears of War. They built Unreal Engine, the technology that half the games industry runs on. Solid company. Good reputation. Profitable, without being obscene about it. Then, one of their developers pitches an idea for a cooperative survival game where you build forts and fight monsters. They call it Fortnite. It spends 6 years in development. Nobody particularly cares about it. It releases in early access in July 2017 to mild reviews and moderate interest. Then, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds comes out. 100 players drop onto a map. Last one alive wins. The entire gaming world loses its mind. PUBG sells 30 million copies in its first year. Epic looks at this, looks at their game, looks at this, looks at their game. 2 weeks later, they bolt a Battle Royale mode onto Fortnite, and it works. Immediately and completely, and on a scale nobody anticipated. By 2018, Fortnite Battle Royale has 125 million players. Not 125 million downloads, 125 million people actively playing, for free, and paying for skins anyway, because the game is good enough that they want to. $5.4 billion that year. More than any other game on the planet. More than most film studios make in a year. From one game that started as a mediocre fort-building survival title nobody asked for. It was genuinely a cultural moment, the kind that only happens a few times a decade. Epic used the money to build out the Epic Games Store, a direct competitor to Steam designed to challenge Valve's stranglehold on PC gaming. They funded exclusives. They fought Apple and Google in court over App Store fees for years. They spent billions positioning themselves as the company that was going to reshape how games are sold. All of it funded by Fortnite. One game, carrying everything. The first sign something was wrong came in 2023. Epic laid off 830 people, 16% of the entire company. Tim Sweeney said in his memo, "We've been spending way more money than we earn." Same sentence, different year. The reasons were familiar. Fortnite engagement had softened after the pandemic boom. The Epic Games Store was not profitable yet. The legal battles with Apple and Google had cost hundreds of millions. The company had grown faster than the revenue could sustain. They cut the staff, restructured. Sweeney said in October 2024 that Epic was, quote, financially sound after a year of rebuilding and executing solidly on all fronts. That was 5 months ago. 2 weeks before this week's layoffs, Epic quietly raised the price of V-Bucks. V-Bucks are Fortnite's in-game currency, the thing you buy to get the skins, the thing that generated $5.4 billion in 2018. Epic's statement said the cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot. Nobody really clocked what that meant. Then, on March 25, 2026, the memo went out. Over 1,000 employees gone, together with $500 million in cost savings from contracting, marketing, and unfilled roles. Second major round of layoffs in 3 years. The CEO apologizing to staff for being here again. The reason given? A downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means Epic is spending significantly more than it is making. Just to be clear about what that sentence means, Fortnite, the game that made $5.4 billion in a single year, is now costing more to run than it generates. The most successful free-to-play game in history is operating at a loss. Here is what the data actually shows. Peak monthly active players on PlayStation and Xbox dropped 28% since 2023. Average monthly playtime was 29 hours in 2023. By 2025, it was 15.4 hours. Roblox, a game primarily played by children on tablets, overtook Fortnite in average playtime and daily visits for the first time ever. Roblox. Epic also announced this week they are shutting down 3 Fortnite game modes entirely. Their own statement on those closures said, "We failed to build something awesome enough to attract and retain a large player base." The company that invented the genre that defined a generation of gaming said that about their own game. But here is what nobody is saying out loud. Epic built a $5 billion a year company on one game, then used that money to fight Apple, fight Google, build a store, fund exclusives, take on legal battles that cost hundreds of millions. All of it an enormous bet that Fortnite would keep generating that money indefinitely. It did not. The Epic Games Store had a record year in 2025, $1.16 billion in sales. That sounds impressive until you realize Fortnite alone was generating more than 4 times that at its peak. The store they built to replace Fortnite's income is generating a fraction of what Fortnite used to make. The legal battle with Apple over App Store fees, the one Sweeney called a battle only in the early days of paying off, has been running since 2020. 6 years, hundreds of millions in legal costs, still not resolved in any meaningful way. Meanwhile, the game. Fortnite added Marvel characters, DC characters, Star Wars. The entire cast of every major entertainment property on Earth dropped into the same map. It chased every trend simultaneously. And somewhere in doing that, it stopped feeling like Fortnite. Sweeney called it challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic. What he means is they do not know how to make people care about Fortnite the way they did in 2018, and they have been trying for 7 years. This is not just an Epic story. 1/3 of U.S. games industry workers were laid off in the last 2 years, according to GDC survey data. Not 1/3 of Epic, 1/3 of the entire industry. The model that Fortnite invented, free-to-play, live service, endless seasons, Selva Cosmetics, has been copied by every major publisher, and almost all of them are failing at it simultaneously. Concord lasted 11 days. Anthem lasted 2 years before BioWare shut down the servers. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, the studio, and Warner Bros. Games' entire live service strategy in one release. Battlefield 6 lost 92% of its players within months of launch. Fortnite did not just inspire a genre, it set expectations no game could sustainably meet, including itself. Epic says the next generation of the company starts now. Unreal Engine 6 in development. Fortnite returning to mobile. Huge launch plans for the end of 2026. Maybe it works. Epic has survived upheavals before. Sweeney said so himself in the memo. They survived the move from 2D to 3D in the 90s. They survived the shift to online gaming in the 2000s. But those transitions happened when the company had room to breathe. This one is happening while they are cutting 1,000 people to keep the lights on. 1,000 developers. Gone. The game that made $5.4 billion in a year now costs more to run than it makes. And the CEO who said the company was financially sound 5 months ago sent a memo this week that started with 4 words. I'm sorry we're here again.